Good morning, everybody. We are live. It is Tuesday, and it is another edition of Moment of Hope with Upward Transitions. I am here with my friend and colleague, Scott Love. Good morning, Scott. Are you frozen, my dear? We lost Scott. Well, he'll be back. And so this morning we're going to talk to Scott about his work with the programs that he works with in homeless prevention at Upward Transitions. So we can't wait to talk to Scott. It's always fun to have technology glitches on Tuesday. But during the COVID months, we have seen a change and an increase in homeless prevention. Some of the articles that we are reading say that upwards of 500,000 Oklahomans will be impacted by eviction in the coming months. And so our work at Upward Transitions is to help turn off the faucet of that work. And so our friend Scott, who hopefully will be with us in just a moment, is to do the work of intervening with those families, to assess the situation, to help them get back on their feet with rent and utility assistance. And so I am so happy to have him with us this morning. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Micah.
It's always fun to have technology troubles right after you tested it.
Technology problems, that's really appropriate, that kind
Oh, did I lose you again? And we are going to try again to get Scott back and try this again. But like I was telling you, 500,000 Oklahomans are affected with homeless at risk for eviction. And so we are trying to do our best to intervene with rent and utility assistance for those families. And Scott is one of our case managers that does this really important work. And Scott has been doing this work for a long time. So I can't wait for you to hear from Scott. He is rebooting as we speak. One of the things that Scott does on behalf of these families is to sit down with them and do a budget to make sure that the interventions that we are doing on their behalf are sustainable. So when we do pay a rent payment or a utility payment, we're not just putting a Band-Aid on a situation. We are actually elevating them into that next step so that we are putting them on the right path towards getting into that next situation. We, oftentimes we work with landlords, we work with the whole situation. And so, Scott, are you back?
I'm back. Oh, goodness. I think it's a problem on my end, and I think it's a problem on my end, and we got it fixed.
Yay, good. I was just telling them about your focus with homelessness prevention. And so just tell us what that looks like during the course of a typical week.
Okay. Monday mornings, we take requests for assistance on our website, the Upward Transitions website. And there is a form to apply. There's some basic questions. It's directed assistance for folks who are needing assistance with rent, where there's someone living in Oklahoma County that has children either under the age of 18 or 55 or older, and they have a 5-day notice to quit or an eviction notice, and so they're at risk. And so, for example, we keep that form open for a limited amount of time on Mondays because we have a certain amount of money every week that we can use to help folks. And so every Monday, every week through the year, we do this with the exception of a week where there's a holiday. We don't on those weeks. But every other Monday, we have a certain amount that we're spending and we're trying to find places where we can effectively help. So my week starts on Monday. In this week's case, there's 17 referrals that we took online, and I'm responsible for sorting through, working with those. A portion of that is done first come, first serve, but there's also a portion that the applications have to be fit for the funding we have available. Some grants are specifically only for households with children. Others are only for Oklahoma City. Others can be the entire Oklahoma County. Others, we can also help adults who are 55 or older. And so it has to be the right fit. Some of them are specifically have to be problems related to COVID. So there are a number of things. And then just the issue of what is the hardship? Is this a place where what we can do in this for this individual or for this family, something that is really going to help make a difference here? So there's that sorting that starts, and through the whole rest of the week, it's interaction with the folks that we are able to help, and working to meet the documentation requirements, but also working to, part of our philosophy at Upward Transitions is to work to address the larger issues. So I'm going to be looking at what else in this conversation and engagement that I'm having with folks is an issue, difficulty, a barrier. And is there a resource that we know of that we can link them to, or a way that we can support them individually or as a family? Because sometimes the issue is just paying rent and having the money to do it. But sometimes there are other things that contribute that affect our lives and our stability and our ability to maintain and pay that rent. And so we work on that big picture. Also, for the folks that we aren't able to assist, work to contact every single family or individual by phone. If I can't get them by phone, by email. And we work to link them, if we can't help them, to other community resources where they can get help. So we work in each of those, I'm working with each of those 17 applications and trying to support them the best what we can, whether it's direct financial support or linking them to another source of support. So that's the focus of my week.
Yeah, it's a very good approach. We're not just throwing money at somebody. We're making sure that this is a sustainable infusion or relief for a family. And that's the part that I really appreciate about Upward Transitions approach to helping families.
Me too. It's part of why I'm here. I've been in the people business for 4 decades now, in one form or fashion, and so it's something that I have a personal commitment to. There's a reason I'm in this place and with this agency. There are a lot of ways of going about doing it, and to be honest with you, are better than others. And there's a healthy, responsible philosophy that we have at Upward Transitions that we work very hard to adhere to. And it's a responsibility to people, to loving and compassionate and supportive, to work at that, to do the best we can, to be there for folks. but at the same time to be responsible with the resources that we have. Because if some of these funds are coming from the United Way of Central Oklahoma, or if they are coming from a foundation, or if they are coming from an individual or a family that's donating directly, or if they're coming from tax funds, taxpayer funds, in every one of those cases, we have a responsibility to be careful and thoughtful with those funds. And so it's a two-sided thing for where the funds are coming from and how they're being used and how we're supporting the folks that we're working with. I think there's a full circle there, and we try to take that seriously.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to that event, one of the things that I've been really proud of is how our organization has been really creative during COVID. We didn't shut our doors in the, way of discontinuing services. We shut our doors in the way of keeping everybody safe. But we got, our brains going, and we said, so how can we use other tools and other resources to make sure that we can continue to serve our clients and keep everybody safe and continue to provide this really important service in the way that continues to meet this mission and our philosophy. And so tell me about the ways that, you mentioned the web form and some other ways. So tell me about some creative ways that you're working from home, that you have utilized some tools to make sure that your clients have been served during this time.
Well, one of them is what you just said. I'm working out of a home office, and I am fortunate that I'm working with an agency that supports me in that. That doesn't always happen. And so I have the opportunity to do this work, which my work would be the same in the office, but it's because what we're doing is we're working to protect people's health during this time of COVID, to reduce face-to-face interactions as the best we can, and to utilize and maximize opportunities to support people. And so as an agency, we've stepped up our financial support during this time for rent and utilities, and that's been really impressive. In my case, all the work done with clients has been focuses around their telephone. Everybody has a telephone or knows somebody who has a telephone. And even our most impoverished clients have that. There's a government program to help people get cell phones. And so most of our folks are going to have it. So it's really, it's focused around that, and talking on the phone, utilizing email through the phone. We have forms that can be filled out on phones. I also utilized for some intakes, I set up a Facebook account that's just for work, just for upward transitions. And I'll friend a client on Facebook, and then we'll do our intake through Messenger, has a video option, and we can see each other and we can talk, and we can also go and press the button on the smoke detector and turn the fan on the vent above the stove, and we know those things, basic safety things, are working. And if they're not, we can engage with their landlord to advocate for them for safety, as well as being able to pay the rent bill. And so it's worked really well. I put one client in that at a time, and then they're defriended when we're done with that work. Not really defriended, but that's a Facebook term. But so they have confidentiality.
Right,
I don't want them to go and see a list of names. Oh, that's who else is getting help or who's working. So one person at a time is put in that to maintain people's confidentiality. and it's worked well.
Look at you being all creative with technology.
Well, amazing for an old guy, huh?
So is there a particular case, and you don't, obviously don't share names and stuff, but is there a particular case or story or something that has really just kind of impacted you over the last few months in this kind of different way of working?
I would say some of my favorite cases, not just during these times, but overall, have been working with women who are pregnant, who are at a point that they're not able to work and support their families. Many are single moms, or who have just had their babies, and to be able to support them with rent and utilities while they have their babies, and while as they begin their lives together, so that we don't have women and infants on the street or in shelters. And so I have a number of folks that I've worked with as a case manager for the agency like that. And, it's one of the sad things that we're dealing with as a society is how do we protect our most vulnerable? And certainly, I can't imagine anyone believing that we should have someone who's having a baby be a victim, be homeless. And so I had a current case that also a landlord just really didn't care and wanted to evict somebody who had a 1-week-old baby.
Oh
and we advocated and received support from one of our legal partners, and we've held that off so that they did not have to do it. It really becomes even a safety issue. And most landlords are going to be very reasonable. They want the best for their people too. And so the vast majority are wonderful to work with. We're looking for win-win solutions for both the landlords and the clients. Sometimes, unfortunately, there are things that are more challenging. But it's rewarding when we can step in and be a support to help stabilize a family.
Yeah.
That does good things for my heart.
Yes. So I know that you have taken, this is your second round of service with Upward Transitions, and you have a passion for this work and this agency. So if someone was encountering Upward Transitions for the first time, and this is a question I ask almost everybody I chat with, how would you describe what we do to them?
Well, I think our mission to prevent generational poverty, is a critical part. It's a standard but true explanation of our focus. But I think a lot of it's in the detail, and it's reflected in the first part of our conversation. And I think we work very hard at doing it in a way that is responsive and respectful of people. One of the best compliments I can have is when I'm talking to someone that's turned in a request for assistance on Monday mornings on our website, but we don't have enough money to help them. We could only help so many people. And I'll call them up and I'll talk to them and say, tell me more about this that's happening that you mentioned on your application. And have you thought about this? And what about this resource? And how many people say, I just want to thank you for calling and talking to me.
Mm.
For that I had that level of respect. And we're not able to do that with everybody. And obviously, some situations are more challenging than others. And this is a real thing. We don't hit perfection, but we take it as an ongoing goal to offer services with both intention of mind and intellect of how we do it, but also of heart and compassion for people. And we want to be doing it in that way. So it's helping to stabilize folks in a community where our eviction rates are among the highest in the nation in Oklahoma City. And so to try to be part of the solution and try to keep people from going and being more of the homeless, because once that happens, the wheels really come off. And we work with them on that end too. We have people who work with folks, and I work with families to help rehouse homeless families as well. And so we do that, but it's much harder. It's more expensive. It's more involved. It's harder on the children. It's harder on the family system, on the folks who are going through it. So if we can do it early, if we can do it thoughtfully, if we can do it compassionately, that's our goal. And I experience a lot of support and collegiality at Upward Transitions in that goal. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm part of it.
Yeah, one of the first things that I tell people about Upward Transitions is the case managers or Upward Transitions are the people that I want to talk to when I'm anxious. Because they have an ability to take everybody's anxiety down about 10 notches just in their tone of voice. And whether they are able to give the ultimate solution or not, just their compassionate tone gives the people they're talking to that ability to take a breath. And I was telling, I guess it was, I'm in a meditation group, and I was telling my meditation group the other day that I think that's, our mission statement has the word hope in it. Mm. And that ability to take a breath is, I believe, the seed of that hope that we give people. And so, because so many people can't take that breath. And so the ability to reduce that anxiety and take a breath and then be able to then offer the resources is both the hope and the mission. So I
like the way you said that.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
What you and your cohorts do in case management is something I am in awe of all the time.
Thank you. But give yourselves credit too. I mean, I think an agency has a culture. Mm-hmm. Any organization has a culture. And so in our case, in our culture, our case managers are part of that, but our administrators are part of that. And it really takes all those pieces to work together. And so I'm glad we're working at it together, friend. I'm grateful for you.
Yes, I'm grateful for you too. And I'm grateful that you took the time to be a part of this conversation and share your work today. I hope it brought everybody a little hope as they watched and listened to your work and your passion and compassion for what you do. And so thanks for being with us, friend.
Thanks for the invite.
All right. Everybody have a great Tuesday, and I hope you find a little hope in what you do. Bye.
Goodbye.